Hey, welcome everyone. This is Mike from ZoZoStockWatch.com, and this is going to be your Let's Get Ready for the Week Ahead, November 12th through November 16th. If you're new to this channel and to my Let's Get Ready for the Week Ahead videos, we're going to be talking about earnings coming up. We'll be talking about some of the best stocks, the worst stocks of the week that just passed. We'll be looking at some of the markets and some of the things that might move the markets going forward for the week ahead. So let's go ahead and get into it. So let's look at the SPY. I'm not going to go through all the markets, but we'll go through the SPY. We have this V bottom in the SPY, and then Friday, we had this back and forth kind of a session. The bulls did show up and hold that 276 area, the 200 SMA, the green moving average you see here. But bulls were trying to push us up through the 100 and get us back over the 50 SMA. You see we have a 50 SMA that's kind of rounded over here. But right now the 100 SMA is the issue at 281.70. So that's going to be a number that the bulls want to get back above. Now we could just have some consolidation for the week ahead. Or for the next few days. This 280 round number is also important. It's kind of like when the summertime breakout started from this 280. So we'll see if that's going to be the first step. If the bulls can get us back above 280 and hold us above there. Let's go ahead and look at the intraday chart of the SPY for the week that passed here, for the Friday session, I should say. So Thursday, there was a battle going on here. We pulled down to about that 279.50, and then into the close on Thursday, they popped us back up. And then Friday night in the 4 a.m. session, the overnight session, we were grinding down throughout the night and with little periodic pops here and there when the market did open on Friday. Now, we had some economic numbers come out. The market was, they were worried about the economic slowdown. You also see, I will get more into oil. Oil has been moving down on a possible global economic pullback. The China data that came out on Thursday night into Friday morning was a little bit to the weak side. So that was what kind of was the excuse. The economy traders thinking that the trade wars are affecting the economy, and the trade wars are still on between China and the United States. Now, into the close here, when we did hit the 200 SMA, the bulls did come in and we did see some dip buying showing up. So the close wasn't too bad. They pushed us back up and then just a little bit of selling into the close here. And then we kind of just did nothing in the after hours on the SPY. Let's go ahead and look at some of the markets for the week. We had, volatility was down about 11% for the week. Gold, JNUG was down almost 10%. Nugget was down almost 10% for the week. Oil had a tough week. Light sweet crude oil down almost 5% for the week. The USO, which is the ETF for oil, that was down about 5% for the week. Silver down almost 4% for the week. Gold for the week, GLD is the ETF for gold, was down about 2% for the week. The OIH, the oil services sector, was down over 1.5%. Names like Schlumberger, Halliburton, Rig, a few names there. The SMH for the week, we were down a little under 1% here on the SMH. We also had the IBB was down fractionally for the week. The IWM was up fractionally for the week. Let me flip this over and you can see the weekly. So the healthcare sector was the strongest sector this week that passed. The XLV was up this week. The IYR, which is REITs, that was up about 3.33% for the week. Utilities for the week were up 3%. The XLP was also up 3%. That's consumer staples. The Dow Jones for the week, we were up 2.84%. On Friday, the Dow was down 201 points on the Dow. The S&P 500 Friday was down about 26 points. We also had the NASDAQ composite that was down on Friday about 124 points on the NASDAQ this past Friday. So an ugly Friday, not much you can say about that, but a little bit of profit taking came into the SPY after that big bounce up. So we're gonna have to see if bulls can defend this 200 SMA. Let's go ahead and look at some people like a visual for the S&P for the weekly sector performance. So the XLC, consumer services, communication services, I should say, that was down for the week. Most of your other sectors were up for the week, with the XLU up 3%, and like I said, the XLV up about 4% for the week. Let's go ahead and take a look at the IWM, and we'll look at the IBB. The IWM, we got this V bottom bounce. We're still below the 200 SMA. We could possibly still get this 50 SMA crossing over the 200 SMA here on the IWM. The SMH itself, the semiconductor names, they pulled up back up a little bit. Also a V bottom here, popping back up, but we're at a resistance spot here of about $97, $98 for the SMH. The IBB, that also popped back up to the 200 SMA on the IBB, has now pulled back and trying to hold above the 10 SMA. The Qs themselves, the QQQ, we remain right around the 200 SMA for the Qs after this V bottom. We popped up to about that 175 spot. We pulled back and we're holding this 10 SMA currently at around 170, the light blue moving average you see there. We're not out of the woods yet with this market. I'm not saying we're in a bear market, but in a corrective market, you can get nice bounces and then head back lower. So we'll have to pay attention to that for the week ahead. Some of the economic information that's coming out for the week ahead, and I'll go ahead and bring over that calendar for you. This is courtesy of the Trade Exchange. So for the week of November 12th through the 16th, we have a holiday on Veterans Day. Now, the markets are still open on this holiday, but we might get some slower volumes this coming Monday. By the way, thank you so much for your service to all the service men and women out there that protect our great country. So U.S. holiday for Veterans Day, but the markets are open. A lot of Fed speak this week coming up. You have at 10 o'clock on Tuesday. You get Jerome Powell speaking on Wednesday, the 14th. So all these boxes in the red, that's your Fed speak. Pretty straightforward as far as economic information this week, so pretty straightforward as far as that. Nothing really stand out except for the Fed speak that will be coming out. And then we do have some numbers coming out for the Asian markets this week. You have the China industrial production that comes out on Wednesday night. You also have numbers GDP coming out from Japan. As far as some of the earnings coming out for the week ahead, all right, and we do have quite a bit of earnings coming out. Now, on Monday, there's really no huge names coming out on Monday in the morning or Monday evening. But then Tuesday, before the open, we get Home Depot. Symbol there is HD. We get Cronus Group, CRON. That is one of the cannabis stocks. Tyson, TYN, will be reporting earnings before the bell on Tuesday. So some bigger names there. After the close on Tuesday, we get Tilray. This is another cannabis stock, TLRY, the symbol there. Wix.com will be reporting earnings after the close on Tuesday. Wednesday before the bell, we have Macy's, Blue Apron, will be reporting after the close Wednesday. We have Cisco, CSCO, symbol there. NetEase will be reporting after the bell on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we have Walmart, J.C. Penney, Canadian Solar, CISQ will be reporting Thursday before the open. After the bell on Thursday, big day for the semiconductor space. We have NVIDIA, NVDA, Applied Materials, AMAT, right? AMAT, Nordstrom, JWN, Sonos, which is a recent IPO. SONO will be reporting earnings after the bell on Thursday. So that's some of your earnings coming out for the week ahead. So Thursday this week, the FOMC, the Fed came out with their decision to keep rates no change to the rate increase for right now. They do have a December meeting coming up, so that one is going to be closely watched. Some of the comments from the Fed on Thursday: the economy is strong, inflation near target, gradual rate increases was one of the things that stood out on from the FOMC meeting on Thursday. So gradual rate increases. So we'll see how that's going to play out with the meeting coming up in December. And also there is a presser after that meeting in December. Let's go ahead and get into some of the best stocks for the week, and then we'll get into some of the worst stocks for the week. And the reason I like to do this is we can pick up some ideas for some of the best stock and worst stocks as far as sectors and what's moving around. So let's go ahead and start the best stocks for the week. We'll start out with Loco, LOCO, restaurant stock. This stock moved up about 8% for the week, LOCO. TWST, a recent IPO. This stock was up 79% for the week that passed, TWST. Nat Gas was up 13% for the week, the UNG. AUTL, also a recent IPO. This stock was up 51% for the week. Some other stocks that were up for the week, KALX, this stock jumped 38% for the week. Crocs, after their earnings came out, the stock moved up 20% for the week. VCEL had a nice week, up 34% for the week. SYMC. Now there's chatter around this name, and also they had their earnings come out. So this stock moved up. Symantec, SYMC chatter, takeover chatter, up 14% for the week. We also had CVS. They reported earnings, and this stock moved up 9%. So this is one of the stocks that's in that XLV, the healthcare sector. Their earnings came out. They liked the earnings. They moved this CVS up 9%. Maybe one of the stocks that I watch for the week ahead. Also, MOS. Mosaic and Agname up 15% for the week. I also saw CF climbing this week, up 5%. We had IPI also moving up in the ag space, up 7% for the week. So some nice movement there in the ag space. We had Fred moving up this week, up 14%. Consumer discount stores and Rite Aid also climbing this week, up 8% for the week. MTNB. This stock climbed 50% for the week. Mark was moving up this week, up 47% for the week on MARK. XONE was up 32% for the week on that name. NK, promising data on one of their cancer vaccines for NK. This stock jumped 13% for the week. SESN, they had earnings, and they also released phase 3 data, and the phase 3 data will be coming up in 6 months on SESN. Stock jumped 12% for the week on SESN, so might be shaping up there. Keep an eye on that one. HTZ earnings came out. This stock moved up 32% for the week. Mylan had earnings this week. Stock moved up 17%. BHC earnings came out. This is the old Valiant Pharmaceuticals. This one was up 13% for the week. Etsy had a very nice week after their earnings, up 21% for the week. PLNT, they reported earnings, and the stock jumped 14%. Also, takeover chatter around this name for PLNT. TLNT. TWLO, big earnings move here, up 24% for the week. ODP, Office Depot up 21% for the week. Revlon reported their earnings and the stock jumped 30% for the week. Macy's had a good week, up 6% for the week. AVGO in the semi space used to be the old Broadcom. This stock moved up 8% for the week on that name. We had TRIP, also jumping this week. They had a nice move up 18% for the week. This week, up 6% for the week. Jordan Restaurants up 7% for the week. And Starbucks, a big move up this week, up 7% in Starbucks, SBUX. All right, that's some of your best stocks for the week. And now some of your worst stocks for the week that passed. We had General Electric. This stock dropped another 8% for the week. Alcoa was down about 7% for the week. Cliff CLF was down 8% for the week. Oil, like we mentioned, was down almost 5% for the week on oil, the ETF for oil, USO. MGI, they came out with earnings. The stock dropped 48% for the week on MGI. MoneyGram International, HIMX reported earnings the week that passed. This stock dropped 19% for the week. Zillow also dropped 27%. Zillow Group dropped 27% for the week. Yelp got killed on earnings. Yelp down 26% on their earnings report. Roku also had earnings. That stock dropped 24% for the week. PYX, this is one of the cannabis plays. The stock dropped 33% for the week on PYX. We had Fossil came out with earnings this week. That stock dropped 21% for the week. MTCH reported earnings. This stock dropped 18% for the week. Win came out with earnings and moved that stock down 12%. It also took LVS down 7%, and MGM also dropped in sympathy 9% on MGM. We had HEAR had earnings this week, and that stock dropped 18% for the week. COTY had earnings this week. Stock dropped 23% for the week. Qualcomm came out with their earnings this week. Stock dropped 10% for the week. This is a very ugly weekly chart you're looking at on Qualcomm. ATVI, Activision Blizzard, sorry. We had a 20% drop in that name. TTWO had earnings. We had a drop of 12% there, which also brought down Electronic Arts down another 4%. IGT also in that space down 14%. So all the gaming stocks came down hard this week. CLSD, they had phase 3. They did not meet the expectations. CLSD was down 67% for the week. GSKY, another stock, a recent IPO, dropped 33% for the week. AKAO began to review strategic alternatives on AKAO, and that didn't help the stock. The stock still dropped almost 40% for the week on AKAO. AVEO, issue in their phase 3 release. This stock dropped 33% for the week. ONCS, data release on their phase 2 was lower than investor expectations on ONCS, so this stock dropped 54% for the week on ONCS. Another name that got hit this week was RSLS. They did a 1 for 40 reverse split, and RSLS didn't help the stock. A 1 for 40 reverse split is when they take liquidity, lower that float down. Anyway, the stock dropped 21% for the week, so no help there with that 1 for 40, taking those shares out of the market. No help there. ENDP, phase 3 trials, treatment of cellulite. did not meet their primary endpoints here on ENDP. So the stock dropped 21% on that name. SRPT, they did an offering. This stock dropped 14% for the week. SGMO, a delay on their phase 1, 2. So this stock dropped 20% on SGMO. Ugly weekly there. ACRX, they're doing an offering. Stock dropped 32%. TSRO, poor results on their phase 1 on TSRO, so down 17%. NKTR, they had earnings that came out. Stock dropped 13% for the week. And then they had a release of their conference call. So investors not liking what they heard there. So NKTR moved down quite a bit. SWKS also moved down quite a bit this week, down 10%. And we'll leave it off with Coors that reported earnings this past week. And this stock dropped 18% for the week on KORS. So taking a hit there on that name. So that's some of your worst stocks for the week. Some stocks that had unusual options activity on Friday. This is a mailing I get from the trade exchange. They send this out each and every evening, and it's a nice market wrap-up letter each night that they send out. They send one out every morning, and then they also send one on the close of the market. So the unusual options activity from Friday, we had Dropbox, DBX, unusual call activity, NIO, RRC, KBH, all in the unusual call activity that's usually positive for a stock. Put activity is usually negative for a stock. So in the unusual options activity to the put side, we had IRDM, eBay, CAG, ANF, and PHB. Some news that came out over the weekend and on the close of Friday, courtesy of the Trade Exchange, the news service. Some top insider purchases that came out, information that came out Friday. CHDN, R, NEWM, PCRX, CALX, BG, FRGI, TALO, CSV, and CWH. All some top insider purchases. Some news that was released over the weekend. INFI had some news come out on their phase 1. ESPR, some news. EIDX, positive phase 2 data on EIDX. That's a recent IPO. JNCE also presents reverse transitional biomarker and preclinical data from the ICOS program. So some news coming out there. Some syndicate news that came out mostly for your offerings. ZFGN filed Form S3, 200 million mixed shelf. RYTM, 100 million mixed shelf security. CDAY, secondary public offering, 11 million shares there on CDAY. AMPH filed Form S3, 250 million mixed shelf, and ACER filed S3, 100 million mixed shelf on that name. Some other news that came out Friday after the bell, we had Merck, FDA approves Merck's Keytruda. So that news coming out Friday after the bell. All right, so this is Mike from ZoZoStockWatch.com. I'll be out with another video over the weekend with stocks to watch. This is your Let's Get Ready for the Week Ahead. I hope you're more ready for the week ahead than you were before.